Okay. Okay, team, I'm going to do the 6-inch cylinder demonstration. To get set up, you want to set your stool really, really close to the wheel. Then you're going to set your pedal on whichever side you want. And you're going to put your foot right up here. Make sure it's not way close or way far away, or it's going to be super awkward. Next, you're going to get your clay ready. You want to try to get the chunks and weird things out. I always try to make it look kind of like a fake boulder. Now these wheels have all these nice concentric circles already going here, okay? So our goal for this first step is to get our piece of clay in the very center. You'll notice I've already taken all of my hand, jewelry, rings, all that stuff off because it's going to get super gross, okay? So I'm going to take my piece of clay, I'm going to pick it straight up, and I'm going to throw it straight down, okay? You'll notice I didn't get it right in the center. So from this very beginning point, I'm going to move it and try to get that circle around here even, okay? Now we're set up. Remember, really close to the wheel. Now I'm going to get some water, and I'm going to put it on here. This next step, you have to use your body mechanics, okay? Your nose needs to be over the clay, and your elbows need to be in. I always like to think about myself being a little T-Rex, okay? You do not want to be a chicken. You want to be a T-Rex. Your elbows in, your elbows supported on your stomach, your side, down here. You don't want your elbows moving, okay? And what I'm going to do is lean on the clay, because I'm a lot heavier than this 1 pound of clay, and I can control it. But if I stay out here and I have like floppy, sad arms, the clay is going to beat me up, okay? So I'm going to lean on it, and I'm going to have my non-dominant hand on the top, my dominant hand on the side, okay? And I've got to balance these hands because I'm going to push down and in. If I push too much with the top hand, it's going to make a pancake. If I push too much with the side hand, it's going to make a giant cone thing. Okay, so we have to balance those two hands. Looks like this. Okay. This is kind of the basic shape you want to end up with. It kind of looks like a Rolo candy. Now it's getting here fine, but the clay's got some weird stuff going on. So I'm going to do what's called wedging on the wheel or coning. What that looks like is I'm going to go here, and I'm going to gather the clay up. You notice I don't really need my fingers for this. And I'm going to kind of make this motion, and I don't want to squeeze it on the backside, okay? When you cone, it's really important that the top is the skinniest point. If you have like a weird skinny point in the middle, this whole top section is going to fall off. Now I'm going to put my left hand on the top, my right hand on the side, and push it down and in. Okay? I still have something weird going on. See how it has a little wobble? So I'm going to re-wet my hands. I'm going to go again. This kind of motion. All the way up. You can feel it get still, and then you're going to push it down and into it. So, okay, we're almost there. I'm going to go one more time. Coming it up. There we go. I found the air pocket. It's like right here. You're going to push it down and into it. So go slowly, or you're going to make it into a spiral. Okay? So again, this is the shape I'm wanting to have. Kind of low and wide. Now it's a good time to start cleaning this situation up. I'm going to use my wooden rib. I'm going to hold it by this little thing. I'm going to hold it down here at the 3 o'clock. So if this was a clock, I have 12, 3, 6, and 9. I'm going to hold it right here. Let the wheel do the work. Cool. We want it to be clean because your hand's going to be resting in here. If there's clay here, your hand's going to go, ka-dum, right? So next, I'm going to kind of clean my hands. And clean your hands is relative. So I call this the super scissors. You're going to scissor, wipe. That's pretty much as clean as you're going to get. Next, I'm going to re-wet everything. It is now for opening the well. I want to open a hole that's shaped like a V in here. I don't want to drill a hole. I'm going to open a V. Okay, there's two ways to do that. One, you can take both thumbs and you can go like this. I feel like I have weak thumbs. This does not work very well for me. But, so what I do is go like this. And I kind of dive in with my hand here. You can do either way. Okay, you want to go medium fast for this, okay? So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to slowly dive in. I'm going to kind of have this shape with my hands. Down, 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 down. And when I think I'm getting to the bottom, I'm going to stop. And this is the one time you're going to touch your clay while the wheel's not moving. You're going to take your needle tool. You're going to stab it all the way down to the bottom. Slide your finger down until you hit the clay, and then pull it up. So stab, slide, come up. That's how much clay you have left in the bottom, and that's right about where you want to be, because you're going to trim some of it off. If you're down here, we're in trouble. If you're up here, you need to keep going deeper, okay? So don't worry about this hole. It's going to seal itself up. So now I have this nice V-shaped hole. Now we're going to do is pull the floor towards me to make a nice flat bottom. A lot of students forget this step, and it is no good. So you're going to come here. Again, medium speed, pull straight towards you. Okay? This distance should stay the same for the rest of your time. So if you open up really wide, you're going to have a really low wide thing. If you open up really narrow, you're going to have a narrow little thing. Okay? So since we're making a cylinder, we want to really make sure we have a flat bottom and square sides like this. We want to try to get a nice crisp corner in here. If we do it too round, then when we go to trim, you're going to end up with like a fat belly bowl shape, right? So you want to try to get it as square as possible. And what I do is come here and I rotate my finger, and it makes a nice crisp bottom, crisp corner there. The other thing I'm going to do is take my sponge, squeeze it out, and I'm really going to press down and compress this bottom. This will save you some heartache later. Is you don't want to end up with S-cracks. S-cracks happen when the floor is not compressed and when you leave water pooling in the bottom. You do not want water pooling in the bottom, okay? Where you do my corner, we're good to go. Okay, so if you can, you want to get rid of water in the bottom. So now I want it to have kind of like a bundt cake vibe around here, flat bottom. Okay, next, making holes. So there's a couple ways to do it. I like to kind of do the cheater way here for beginners. Is you're going to take one of your small sponges and you're going to pinch it like this. You're making this shape, but with a sponge in there. Okay, that's going to be in your dominant hand. On your non-dominant hand, you're going to put 3, 4, 5 on the inside, and this pointer finger is going to hang out on the with your dominant hand over here. Okay, and all of this is happening between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. A lot of people like to go over here, but this is no good. You want to stay over here close to you where you have control. Okay, so 3, 4, 5 on the inside. Squeeze the sponge. This finger is joining your two hands together. Okay, you want your two hands working in tandem. If you go like this and you're trying to squeeze, nothing good is going to happen. It's going to get all twisted and torqued up. Okay, so these two hands have got to be working together for this to work. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the wheel slowly, and I'm going to squeeze these two hands together, and the wheel's going to go around at least once, and the clay's going to push up. And then I'm going to move my hands up just a little bit, and then it's going to move up. And I'm going to move up, and it's going to move up. And I'm going to move up, and it's going to move up. And you're going to think about squeezing level 10 squeeze at the bottom. And then as you go up, you have less clay to lift. So you're going to squeeze level 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So here's what it looks like. Slow. It does need to be wet, but again, we don't want pooling water. Okay, 3, 4, 5, squeeze the sponge, nose over the clay, here like this. Now I'm going to start really digging in here on the bottom, squeeze, let it make a full circle and lift up. Let it make a full circle and lift up. Let it make a full circle and lift up, up, up. If you don't let it make a full circle, you'll end up with what I call the death spiral. Okay? The death spiral is a little bit tricky to fix, so we want to avoid that. Okay, when you get to the top, you're going to gently release. Dump all your weird stuff. And this, see how the top is gross? We're going to compress the top by going scissor, compress. Okay? If it's really uneven, that's okay. The compressing is going to help it. Now we're going to go in. Now it's really dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scissor, and run water down my fingers, and that'll give you just a tiny layer of water. Now I'm going to go again. This is probably the last time I'm going to get to use this finger because my fingers are only so long, right? So again, dig it. See how I squeeze my body in? Squeeze your body in. I'm trying to get this little part, this little hidden clay out. So I'm really going to dig in here. Dig in. Squeeze and lift. Go slow. I like to go too fast. Squeeze and lift. To get it to go straight up, you almost have to aim in. So now we have an issue. Inside here, there's an air bubble. So I'm going to just stab it, pop it, whoop, there we go. We're going to keep going. So now it's getting kind of tall. Do the same thing. Scissor compress, get it wet. Now I can't do the trader finger, this finger. I'm going to have to go like this. The thumb becomes the one. I'm really going to squeeze. I don't have to squeeze as much for the rest because most of the clay is already here. See how slowly I'm moving up? That's where the air pocket was. Feel it. Okay. Now we're looking pretty good. Scissor compress. You notice how it's kind of going out a little bit? I don't want that. So I'm gonna take a minute, sop all of this extra clay up. I'm gonna squeeze it in a little bit. Just a little bit of time. Now it's cleanup, refinement. The wooden rib is your friend. Make sure it's clean. You also need to make sure this whole exterior is wet. Because if it's dry, this is going to grab on here and here. So again, I'm going to have this hand on the inside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze and lift and squeeze and lift like this. But instead of having the sponge, I'm going to use the rib. And it's going to peel all that slip off. You might want to go ahead and clean this bottom. Again, trying to get that extra clay off. Clean it again. Now we're ready. Pushing out to the rib. Probably track where my inside finger is based on where the slip is coming off. Pushing out, pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. Okay, so now we're good. Look at all that slip I got off. That's going to make it much easier for me to clean up. Now I have more water in here and don't like that. Get this guy out. So, some things. I have done this a lot, so mine ended up pretty even. And if you do the compression every row, yours will also probably end up even, but that doesn't always happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the top off, just like you would if your top was like, okay? So I'm going to scissor, and I'm going to impale this thing, go stab all the way through below the lowest point, and then I'll lift up. Scissor, stab, lift. Okay? So that's what you'll do if yours is uneven. Next, you can use something like this product right here, or you can use a chamois or even a piece of plastic. And you're going to drape. And this is going to make for like a beautiful lip here. You can even shape it into something nice. Last but not least, if you want to collar it in, you can. Hey, Austin, will you give me a wire cutter, please? Now we're going to get it off the wheel, okay? So last chance, make sure you get all the slip off. The reason you really want to get the slip off of this one is because the slip will hold your fingerprints, okay? And you don't want that. You want to have a nice clean surface that's going to be easier to work with. So here's what we're going to do to get this thing off. We're going to take our wire cutter, you're going to wrap it around your hands. You're going to use your thumbs like this. You're going to hold it really tight. You're going to start on the back side and you're going to pull towards yourself. I do it 3 times because I'm paranoid. This one's pretty good though. 3, good. Next, I'm going to wipe on my apron. Now, this is a tall thing, so for this I would probably grab it, roll it, and pick it up. A short thing, I'll use my T-Rex fingers and I'll stab it like this. Palms up, stab, twist, and lift. Okay? Big things like this, I'd probably roll it like that. Okay? cleaner your hands are, the less it's gonna leave prints. And then we'll come over here, put it in front of the fan, and come back and trim that here in a little bit when it's leather hard.